think now is more of a time than ever to establish that the virus known as Karen-itis is indeed a thing, and it needs to be diagnosed immediately. For the past week, I have given y'all video after video after video with the help, of course, of my subscribers and followers on Twitter, because that's where most of the videos came from, where we have seen intense displays of Karen behavior, paranormal Karentivity, I guess you can call it. I don't know how I come up with this stuff, but it's scary. Now, just like with the previous one I did, I noticed that this woman, well, I take that back. This might be in the midst of the virus going on, because at first I didn't notice it until I just looked at my screen, but I do see one of the workers does have a mask on his face. If you see right there in the corner, like near the corner of the screen on the opposite side of the counter. And then I noticed they have those shades down too. So this is going on. So she too is not practicing covering her face, which is another thing that we have noticed that has come from the Karen-itis, is that none of them want to practice not only social distancing, but not keeping their faces covered, but want to yell and spray all their germs everywhere as much as they possibly can. Off a little off topic, but they just recently did a show on TV what it looks like when germs are sprayed such in a restaurant setting, and they did it in Tokyo. And when they turn the light off, they put on a dark light and they show where the germs spray at, and it's just absolutely disturbing and disgusting. It's like we've been spreading germs for years, but when you think about this right here, it's crazy. So you had the one at the Red Lobster, I gave you the one at the Starbucks, you had the one at the Verizon store, and now you have this one. And all of these videos came within the last week. That's wild. But if you notice, the PC male who was standing right there, he just looked at it and just turned around and walked out the door. This goes back to what I said in the one about the Verizon store. This is why many of their men don't even want to deal with them anymore. You're seeing it on full display right now. This is like phenomenal right here, because at one time you never saw this kind of behavior in public. A lot of people always thought that PC people did not act out like this in public. Oh, were you sadly mistaken? And now that you have cameras on your phones and the internet and social media, it's documented heavily now. As a matter of fact, one of my Twitter followers actually tagged me in a post where they actually, and I kid you not, created an entire Twitter account dedicated to Karen. I forgot what the name of the page was, but it's like a bunch of videos, like threads of videos of PC women acting like out of control, completely out of control, and over the smallest thing. Now, this woman apparently is in some kind of postal mailing place, and she says she's in Brooklyn, New York. And apparently, based on what I was reading in the thread, because there's really not a big backstory, they said that this woman was trying to send something off to her mother, but apparently she forgot her own mother's address. And she got mad at the people working there because they couldn't help her. Like, they can't help you if they don't know where you're going to send this package. Like, where do you want them to send it? Like, they're just going to look at you like you funny. They probably think that you was trying to play a prank on them. And she got mad. Now, I can't really put my finger on it what the woman, the worker behind the counter is, the one she called the B a few times and got really mad at. But if I had to squint, I would want to say that this woman, if she's not black, she's definitely not PC. And she would be considered, I guess you can say, a POC, even though I don't like that terminology, but we'll use it for this instance right here. Because notice that she really went off more on her than she did her PC male coworker. That's what makes me believe that this Karen, we're just going to call her that, this Karen who has been diagnosed with Karen-itis, went off on her harder. This goes back to why I said this to black women. This is why this intersectionality thing does not work. It just does not work. And notice with the videos that I have given you, with the exception of one of them, and that's the Starbucks one, all of those women went at people, whether man or woman, who probably would not identify as PC. So you had the Red Lobster one, with the manager, who I believe was a black woman. You had the one in the Verizon store. That guy looked Hispanic or Latino, even though she called him the mafia, the devil. And I guess she was trying to say he was Italian. And now you have this woman here who I can't really say, just looking at her image in the video, was PC. Are y'all picking up the pattern here? Like, that's who they're choosing to go. The only one who was PC was the one in the Starbucks. And in there is no holds bars, because they go off on anybody in there. They don't care. They like, just make sure my stuff is right, or you getting a hot cup of coffee to your face, as you saw with the other video. But she did all of that, and then she was destroying property in a postal place, which, by the way, is a federal building. Which means if they can get her identity and ID her, she could be brought up on felony charges, and I hope they did. Because it's not like we didn't see her face in the camera, and I'm sure they have cameras in that facility that could pick her out and send the feds to her house. Because she verbally assaulted that coworker. She called her a B word a few times. She started throwing stuff and hitting on things. Like I said, no one has a bigger temper tantrum in this world than the PC woman, and you're seeing it on full display. The yelling, the crying, the whining, the bitching, the temper tantrum, the throwing of things, the hitting of things, hitting of people. They don't care, because they know that no one's going to touch them, and if they do, they're going to go into victim mode just like that, because they have mastered it. They know how to do it, and do it well. Y'all let me know what y'all think about this down in the comments, and I'll talk to you in the next one.